Roll call, please.
Diaz, Covert,
Here.
Browner.
Here.
Lees.
Here.
Newberry.
Here.
All right, I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve is presented.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? Motion carries. So we'll move on to Greg.
Nothing much tonight, Your Honor, just two items. If you recall, just as a reminder before we post anything, water, first 5,000 gallons for pools. Council had decided to, as long as the user notified City Hall one time a year, they'd get they'd get credit on their sewer for the use of 5,000 gallons of water. If I could say that correctly. It's no sewer charge on 5,000 gallons of water. I just want to make sure that there's a consensus to move forward with that, or to continue with that before we actually post it. So, but.
That seems to be in agreement.
And then, just quick note, it was nice to have both cities recognized last week at the Iowa Municipal Management Institute's annual conference, ICMA, and for Project of the Year. So that was just a nice recognition for the both communities. So. And I am finalizing 2 trust applications. They're managed by the same entity, but one is for April and one is for September or October, so, but I'll submit them jointly since they're for the Trailhead project. If I need to resubmit the one in fall, I'll resend an email, but I did have them take a look at it in advance. I'm making a few tweaks, but sounds like all the information is there, so I'll get those submitted this week. So, that's all.
Okay, thank you. Chase?
The last couple weeks, we've just been cleaning up some areas of dead brush around town that we have, and doing some dirt work, areas where we had water breaks over the winter. They started digging in and getting ready at the pool, ready to go last week, so there'll be a couple guys working on that until it opens. And then today, municipal pipe came down, and we got both lines are now sewer lined, so they're done, and it turned out pretty good. So I got the videos of it. I might send some pictures my next update so you guys can kind of see what it looks like. So, but they did good.
It looked like a smooth operation they did down there on West Air. I thought,
Yeah,
well,
They-
if they need applications, I could find some people.
they're pretty good at it. So they did it pretty quick, and it looks good. So.
Chase, what's your timing looking like on Houston Street?
Well, we were going to do it this week, and obviously the rain, the first week that we have that doesn't rain for a week. So,
June.
yeah, I don't want to close it down for a day and then have to open back up. So the first week we get nice weather, so.
Just related to that, if you would, Your Honor.
Sure.
We got a quote, so they're going to be working on that first line that was going to be, that we were going to, the first sewer line that we were going to line with this new product that we couldn't do because of the manhole issue. So they've got a quote from Millard's to get that work done. So that'll be coming forward. And we may be able to do then that additional line. But we need to get that work done first. So 9,800?
Yep, 9,800 was it, and I have it put out for the next meeting to bring it forward.
It requested for 2 other businesses in town, and neither one gave a firm quote, so we just have the one quote right now, so. But
Chase, has the Lions Club gotten in touch with you about doing the refurbishing work?
Not since last fall.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know they had at their last meeting, said that they wanted to do that,
Oh,
and
yep.
get started with it. So,
No, I talked to him last fall about it, but I haven't heard anything since. Yep.
Jesse?
Couple things. Next week, we'll be doing a GTSB partnership with Des Moines County, Burlington Police Department, Iowa State Patrol, looking for distracted drivers. So there'll be increased enforcement sometime next week, working on distracted drivers, speeding, those kind of things. Missy and Chris, Officer Breck and Chip Rez, went up to the elementary school and high school last week and talked to the kids about scooters and following the laws and all that. And Missy went to Casey's and they gave us some free slices of pizza or a slushie to give out to kids if we see them doing things properly, you know, following the laws, stopping at stop signs, those kind of things. So the kids are looking forward to that. And then next Thursday, all of our trucks will be in and out of over there at Kohl's. We'll be doing hose testing for the fire department, testing all of our fire hose. So we'll be over there most of the day doing that.
I noticed 2 kids this morning that stopped at the stop sign on their scooters, so I think, and they looked like they were specifically doing it, and I thought, well,
Good.
that has to be from the school.
Yeah, that's good. That's what we
So-
want to hear.
Will they also give them warnings or anything?
Oh,
when
yeah.
they don't obey?
Oh, yeah.
What they're
Yeah.
supposed to obey?
The problem is legislation. In fact, I contacted our legislators too, just about the topic as well, to see if but there's no great enforcement mechanisms. Education is our best tool, warnings. If we need to talk to parents, we can talk to parents as well, but hopefully the positive reinforcement will work.
So if you kind of give them a warning, would a parent have to read that and sign it and give it back to you?
I think the first one was going to be a verbal warning to the kids, and then if we catch them again, then we're going to get a hold of their parents and have a little discussion with them and go on from there.
That's good. Thank you.
Yep.
Anything from the fire side?
Just working on some maintenance next week with the fire, with the testing of the fire hose, and just staying busy.
Okay. Anything from Mark's end of things?
I'm sure he's enjoying vacation, but he's not bothered to call me to tell me that, but, which is just fine.
Okay. Kelly, anything? Okay. Angie?
Nothing.
Okay. Well, let's go to council reports. Kathy, you want to start?
I don't have anything tonight.
Okay. Therese?
Nada.
Okay. Andy?
Just one, raffle tickets are available starting tomorrow. So if you have a local team or group or any organization that needs to raise funds, we'll have raffle tickets here at West Burlington City Hall. Tickets sell for $2 a piece. $1 of that goes back to your organization. This year's raffle prizes will be $500 cash, Nintendo Switch 2, a 55-inch 4K TV, and one of those big giant Yeti 45 coolers. So $2 a piece, you keep $1. We have several groups that make, $1,200, $1,500. Pretty easy to do. You don't have to put any money in. You just sell the tickets, bring us back the money and any leftover tickets. Come to City Hall to pick them up. And if you have questions, just holler at me.
Okay. Thank you. Ringo?
I know that everybody here knows of it. Mr. Bickle from Bickle's Bicycle Shop had passed away, and he was one of our business leaders in our community for a long time. I sure like to share a story. When I first met Mr. Bickle I just got back out of the Army and was hunting for a bicycle for our son, Latron, who was like 5 or 6 years old at the time. And this was at their old location before they moved to West Burlington. And Mr. Bickle, even though we didn't have a lot of money in those days, his first bicycle treated us like we were buying a $200 bicycle. And it was just an awesome feeling. And my condolences to the Bickle family, because he's just a great person in our community. That's about it, Your Honor.
Tony?
Nothing tonight.
All right, thank you. I believe we have a meeting coming up, don't we, on the 7th for shared services, isn't that?
Shared Services Cooperation, yes.
It's our turn to host, right?
We have not chosen a location yet.
Okay.
Yep, we do need to choose a location.
Okay, and with that, then, I think I
I
need
think
to...
Teresa was hosting,
What's
she
that?
was baking and making some coffee for us, I think, is that what it was? 7 a.m.?
Sure, sure.
I think we decided noon.
Oh, that's right, it was noon. Yeah.
I think that's what it was.
I don't think I was part of that vote.
Oh.
I got left out.
Oh.
Do you have a preference on location? I mean, you just wanted maybe try one of our local
I'll be gone, so.
Tuesday? Well, I just meant, you know, place where we can get coffee or something, be able to meet and handle that location. There's only 6 of us or so.
Yeah,
I'll talk Chad, find something,
Okay.
figure something out.
all right, thanks. Okay, let's see. I think the next thing is another public hearing. It's a public hearing on proposal to enter into essential purpose loan agreement and a proposal to enter into a general purpose loan agreement. So I will entertain a motion to enter into a public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Now in the public hearing. Greg, do you want to make some discussion on that? Just people that are online listening.
Absolutely. So this has to do with the city's proposed TIF-GEO bonds for a number of projects in 2027. Our current TIF bond expires, and this will allow us to work through a number of projects that we've identified, including Mount Pleasant Street, Phase 3 and 4, which takes us out to the city limits. We have STBG funding for that project. In addition, we need the local match as well. Council will still have opportunity to go through that scoring sheet, which I'll open on for discussion as well. Just make a note of that. I've got everybody's scores. You'll see it talks about 2 pieces in here. That smaller portion, I think it was 56,000. It is the 2 fire department items. They have to be noted separately. So, because it's vertical infrastructure versus horizontal infrastructure. So you'll see that's noted separately in the paperwork.
See no other discussion? Motion to close public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Now, do I need to go into a second one here? Number 2? General purpose?
I haven't listed separately, I don't,
But I think we did them together, right? By reading through that first one the way I did?
they said that they were set together, so.
Okay, thank you. All right, we have old business. Consider entering into a 28E agreement with the West Burlington School District to fund a school resource officer.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion?
We added the 2 sections based on a discussion at the last council meeting, indemnity section, and should the contract be terminated, that payout portion as well. And if you have any questions, happy to answer them.
You covered the 2 issues I had. Formatting looks a lot better as well, so thank you.
Okay, well, in that case, I believe we need a roll call.
Crowner,
Aye.
Please,
Aye.
Newberry,
Aye.
Diaz, Covert.
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll start on our new business. We have a resolution taking additional action on proposals to enter into loan agreements and combining loan agreements.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion on this?
You'll see in those first two main paragraphs, 44.5 and 65,000, excuse me, was the general purpose loan amount for the vertical infrastructure.
Okay. Seeing no other discussion, I'll call for a roll call.
Please,
Aye.
Newberry,
Aye.
Diaz,
Aye.
Covert,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll go to number 2, which is setting a resolution for a public hearing on the proposed budget for the fiscal year 2026-2027.
Motion to approve, what was it, April 22nd?
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? If not, I'd take a roll call, please.
Newberry,
Aye.
Diaz,
Aye.
Covert,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Please,
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 3. We're going to consider a resolution setting a public hearing date on the proposed budget amendment for the fiscal year 2025-26.
Motion.
Support.
Motion and support. And I believe that's a May date?
May 6th.
May 6th, yes. Discussion of any kind? Seeing none, I'll call for a roll call, please.
Diaz,
Aye.
Covert,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Please,
Aye.
Newberry.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 4, consider the purchase of a dump truck for the Public Works Department.
Motion approved.
Second. Discussion on this?
There wouldn't be any payment till after July. The body companies, two of them are out 2 years to get a body and plow. We found this one, and if we order it now, we would be able to get it next year. And then the truck, we would be able to get next year as well. And if we wait, the prices are going to go up. So that's kind of why I have it in for right now. So.
Will we lock it in at this price, Chase?
Yep.
Okay.
The new generation truck is actually set to go out this week, and he said the price for the international truck would go up substantially. So if I can sign this tomorrow, then we'd lock in at this price, so.
No further discussion? Call for a vote?
Do a voice vote.
Let's wait. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, our 5th item and last item for business is one of our favorite topics. Considering ordinances for establishing regulations for keeping chickens within the city limits.
Motion approved.
We don't really have.
No, we've got, this is
An
more
ordinance, yeah.
discussion, I think,
Yeah.
isn't it? We don't have one that we're choosing.
We don't have a specific one we're choosing, but we do have
There's-
a couple to look at, and we've kind of combined a couple.
There's examples on there. If you're proceeding with chickens in residential areas, I personally like the detail associated with the Clinton example myself, and thoroughness of it. I handed out some paperwork. It's been or at least staff's recommendation is not to have it in residential districts. There was some discussion at the last meeting on the topic, where it would or could be allowed if we went that direction. There was discussion about larger lots, et cetera. So I tried to come up real quick and frankly, just plugged in what I was looking for in the AI, and it spit out the paperwork that you have in front of you, and which is essentially what I was looking at. So if you've got an active agricultural use, if it's in an ag district, a large lot, which I utilize the 2-acre standard that is pretty consistent, and non-conforming agricultural use, which would cover, for example, one of our current, one of 2 approved locations. That, I believe, would cover in large part what we were discussing. Now, you could certainly change the acreage or however you wish to proceed, but this would be a sample that you could utilize for ag or large lot locations. I use 2 acres. It's pretty common, for example, with deer management programs. If people have 2 acres, they can participate in those, or if they and their neighbor combined have 2 acres and they both agree, that's another
So how many
option.
lots in West Burlington are 2 acres?
I did not have GIS do that, but one way to address that would be where you could treat it like a deer management program where 2 adjacent property owners, each with an acre, could combine their lots. That was that last piece, so you could look at doing that as well. I could have GIS and ask Austin to give us a map showing that, if you'd like. Be pretty easy, I think, for him to do.
I don't think there's too many 2-acre lots in the city of West Burlington.
No, there are
So I
not.
guess I'll have to raise chickens over at my mini storage.
That is our recommendation, not to do it in residential areas. Council is all up to you now.
Well, I kind of like the one here that, I don't know, I guess Kelly looked it up and proposed. That was on my email. This one, I don't know where this one came. Is this the one that you put out today?
Yes.
Well, we had one from Clinton.
From
Is that what I
Clinton.
emailed you?
Yep.
Clinton, and then Greg would like to add those additional things to that Clinton one.
That adds the large lot component, an ag component, not residential component.
So then what do we do with the 2 people that do have chickens in our,
One of those would fall under the active agricultural use, so that they would be fine. The existing residential use, a couple options, most likely. You could, I mean, their permit will expire here at some point in time and just not renew it at that point in time. I don't know that I would cut it short. I'd probably wait till the permit expires. But we only have one active, the other one would comply or fall under this, one of these 4 categories that's listed here. So, one other active one in a residential neighborhood. A few illegal ones which are receiving municipal infractions and will be moving through the court system.
That ends up costing more than,
But that is, yeah, but that's the process that we have to utilize, plus the time and effort. I don't know how many hours the police department's had spent on chicken issues that could be spent on other issues, in my opinion, but that's our recommendation.
So is there any penalty involved with disobeying the ordinance?
with penalty involved with what?
Disobeying the ordinance that we have in place? So, for example, people who decide that they're going to have chickens anyway or whatever?
It's a nuisance violation. Ultimately, it can be municipal infraction. If you go through the process, and that's where you end up, so.
My position hasn't changed. I would not like to have chickens within the normal city district. I think the one you handed out is close to what I would want, so it still has some use in, as this kind of says, active agricultural use areas and zoned areas. I'd like a little more time to read this just to see if we're forgetting something, or maybe some of that loss of eligibility language maybe needs tweaked a little bit, but
I frankly just did this today
Yeah.
so we could have something in front of us. I tried to put the concept together, what I was personally thinking, and for large lot. And I certainly may have missed something. You may want to tweak the acreage. You may want to, there's different ways that you can tweak that, but it gives us something in front of us at least that we could work from.
Now, for me, this is pretty close, because this would not allow it in town proper, but allow it on the large lots out on like North Gear or out at the Homestead. That would be what I would favor. So this with maybe a couple tweaks is where I'm at.
I don't think you necessarily should have to have a permit if it's in an ag.
No,
Right,
right.
yeah. Get us out of the permit process, yeah.
I like some of the things that the Clinton one has defined and put into place, so you might want to pull some
The
of
nice
that.
piece about the Clinton one is it was drafted by our city attorney. He represents Clinton as well, so it's been through that review process, so it's, would be pretty easy to cut and paste from the Clinton ordinance and create an ordinance. It's already been through the review process. Well, and it was one he recommended specifically. So,
He recommended the Clinton one.
yep, he prepared it.
He also has, side note, but Clinton had a ordinance on trap, neuter, release.
Well, on what?
Feeding stray cats. They had some language about that too. Just, I can pull that out too if you're interested.
North Liberty does as well. There's a few others.
Just a sidelight on yours, Kelly. Some of the mayors that have been having discussions on the overpopulation of cats and dogs within their cities and the cost that's been associated with that also.
Well, I don't know, everybody keeps throwing this at me, like 2 cities, 1 community, let's mirror our ordinances so that they're confluent from one city to the other. So now we're not going to have chickens at all in our city, but in Burlington, they're allowed to have chickens.
They do currently allow it under their ordinance. Yes, they do.
Somewhere along the way, the confluency stopped.
Theirs is pretty vague though. They don't have to be the same from city to city, but theirs is pretty vague. It's not very, there's not very many regulations for Burlington.
It's in
It
here.
goes in there.
It's in the book. It's in the packet. Page 72.
I don't know,
don't think
if
they-
there are kids that are allergic to dander with cats and dogs, and they want to have chickens as pets, I don't have a problem with that. You know, the ordinance that you wrote and the one from Clinton, it tells them about cleaning up the feces and doing all of this stuff and having so much space, because I think on yours it said they had to be 10 foot from the fence.
Mine was Clinton, was just Clinton's. I didn't come up with all that.
Well, there was a third one here. And it
That one,
said,
the proposed code?
and it said something
The
about.
very last one is
10
the
foot from all
draft code.
property lines, and then 25 foot from any neighboring residential dwelling.
That-
Well, that kind of limits who can have chickens and who can't have chickens as well. And I guess you'd have to explain to me the difference between 10 feet from all property lines as compared to 25 feet from any neighboring residential dwelling.
Well,
Property line versus the house.
the house. House versus just the property line, backyard and property line.
Because some of my neighbors, they don't pick up their dog feces.
They should. There's an
And
ordinance
so do
about
we wanna-
having to do that.
Do we want to crunch that down in our ordinance for animals as well?
It is.
We had a,
If it causes a nuisance from smell, then there is a ordinance.
a couple of years ago, we had a property in town that had nuisance property that had brush, weeds, and a significant amount of feces. And yes, they had to get that cleaned up. It was contracted and put on the property to be reimbursed, yeah. And they had to, yes, they did have to clean that up, so, and pay for that. It was pretty nasty.
I'm not in favor of banning chickens altogether. I think at one point we discussed 1.5 chickens per 2,000 square feet.
That's in this last, on page 78, the draft ordinance that's in the code, or the draft zoning ordinance.
On the one you put out?
No, it's on page 78. It's in the current draft
Like that was in the
zoning ordinance.
In the zoning ordinance, we're going to have,
Proposed zoning
I don't know
ordinance.
how you can have 1.5 chickens per
I
2,000 square foot, but I suppose,
agree.
you know.
I would say pick 1 or 2.
That's just the language in the current zoning draft.
I don't know. Pretty soon, we're gonna be limiting on how many, I know they're limited to like 4 animals, 4 dogs per house.
There's a number of studies that show that the cost to do it, I mean, a lot of people put up the cost, the alleged cost savings
Well,
by
not
raising
necessarily
chickens, but
I
that
think
cost
Kids
savings,
for having
been shown
a
there.
pet and taking care of a pet. If you're
Different
allergic
issue.
to dander with cats and dogs, and you go to chickens, there's a lot of kids that love chickens.
Mm-hmm.
And teach them responsibility.
To me,
I
it's
don't
just,
know, I think we're just getting a little too hardcore. And I don't mind them going to their neighbors and asking permission. I think that they should do that. Because that's just being neighborly, but to cut it out completely, it's not for me.
when I look at this code, it's just about what's normal in town. What's the expectation of the environment that you live in? And that's why you set a certain number of dogs and cats, because if I had 14 dogs at my house, well, that's not typically what you have in a residential area. I love cows. I love to eat cows. I think it'd be fun to have one, but I probably shouldn't have one in my yard because that's not normal in a residential area. And in today's world, chickens are not normalized in close area, residential areas. And so that's why I'm against it. If they want to have them out of town on a large lot, I'm perfectly fine with that, but otherwise farm animals should stay out on a farm.
Well, things have changed since you were a child. I mean, they have urban chickens out in New York. They raise them up on the rooftops.
There are
Anything is
places,
urbanized, it would be New York. It's like, I don't know.
There's a
That's
number
just
of-
my opinion.
there's a number of
and I don't
cities with
wanna
urban
keep
chicken ordinances.
this
Yep,
any
there
longer
are.
than we have to, but
Kathy, you want to say anything?
Well, if it wasn't normalized, we wouldn't have these other cities' ordinances and how many they can have, so
Okay.
I'm still in favor of it.
Okay.
I've talked to a few people about the chickens. It seems like some people don't want to have angry neighbors, let's say. If somebody comes up and asks them if they're going to probably say, yeah, I'll go ahead and have the chicken, even though their feelings may be different, because they don't want to have a problem with their neighbor. I haven't had a lot of people call me yet, personally. You know, we've had this discussion for a year, off and on. I haven't had anybody call me, complain, but I haven't anybody call me in support of the chickens either. I do understand the value of property. It does, you know, I do know people that if they're gonna have an extremely expensive home and then their neighbor's got, you know, chickens next door to them, you know, that I do know that they look at that as a property valuation that goes down then if they try to resell or do things with their property. I don't like trying to tell people how to do things on their own property. I'm a very strong believer they should be able to do what they want to on their own property, but at the same time, I live in an agriculture area. I don't live in an inner city, but I also get that the property values, it does affect property values, whether we, you know, and I'm sort of like on the edge, but I'm gonna lean towards Andy in this situation because I feel like that there should be, you know, a little more stricter on it, only because of the value of the homes and stuff involved in it. And we still have time, I guess, before we're not making a final decision tonight, but if the public listens and watches, I do like the public intake. We've been discussing, we haven't had anybody come in from the public, actually come in here and discuss it, which I do prefer that the public get involved in things like this, like in some of the other stuff.
And on the other side of the equation, we have had a number of complaints, though, that the police department's now had to follow up on. I mean, I don't know that I necessarily want to bring a list of those specific properties forward, but we could certainly probably identify, I mean, the number of complaints.
Well,
Well, maybe not the number of complaints, but the number of property, I mean,
But those complaints are not within our rules at the time anyways.
yeah, but are
no,
those
they're
So they're not in
they're not
compliance.
approved locations.
So it's an
Right, although we did have a
Right.
complaints, we did have a complaints about the one in the residential area because chickens were loose at one point in time, but they fixed that problem.
And I did talk to Chief Logan about that before a meeting started, because I hate going back to like when I was an officer, you know, we did receive complaints about when roosters were crowing. I remember the famous rooster that was a couple blocks down that was crowing every Sunday morning before everybody's, that we finally located after several complaints. But again, that was several years ago, so I was trying to get a feeling like, what's going on now? Things change, you know, people change, and I understand that. And that's why I was asking Chief Logan about it, and I would like the public give us some comments. I really do. I wish they would. But, you know, that's my thought.
Okay, thank you.
Currently, we have 2 legal chicken farmers, if you want to call them that, and 1 illegal one.
There's probably more than one illegal one, I think.
I mean, it's good information to see, you know, what Clinton has and their, you know, guidelines and stuff. And I think there's got to be structure to it. But I guess I still stand kind of, you know, like Andy does. I don't want my next door neighbor to have them because I don't want to listen to them or smell. And I know there are areas, even, you know, in my neighborhood that they have a couple dogs and they don't clean up the feces and it does stink. And I agree with not wanting to be a upset neighbor, you know, and complain to them or turn them in or whatever. So I guess my stand is still that I would not want them in city limits.
Well, in our ordinances, we can enforce that they have to clean up the chicken doo-doo.
Right. But we have it with the dogs too, but that's not, doesn't always happen either.
Well, we don't enforce that either, I don't think.
We can force all nuisance complaints that we receive.
I agree, because I know the officer's not actively looking for, and looking around for smelling for dog feces and,
Well, they got
you know,
more important
scat.
stuff to do, but I don't know, they could,
Can I ask one quick follow-up? Just, looks like we're 3-2 on this, but are both of you in favor still of going to some kind of code that allows it in, outside of the proper town in agricultural areas, or are you against that as well?
No, I'm not against
I would
that.
say that would be fine. I mean, out in the, I would call it the country setting.
I like what Greg did in addition on it. I mean, I'd like to read it through a little more, but with just briefly looking at it, I like what he added.
Well, my experience with it is through Burlington and a relative of mine over there, and he hit me up right away, said, "Are roosters allowed in Burlington?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Well, there's one been crowing for the last 2 weeks here." And he said, "None of my neighbors seem to want to say anything about it." And he said, "But it bothers me all the time." He said, "I'm going to have to call it in." So he did, and I think the rooster's gone. But I mean, it did put a strain on his relationship with the people who had the rooster. And he said the smell's still no good, so he's not happy. Anyway, with that in mind, Greg, do you have enough information to put something together for us for?
Yes.
I've got one last comment. I know, ladies, that you're writing it down. If you could encourage our public, if they would have any comments, to please, they can contact any council person or contact the city and give their opinion, what they're thinking. Would be greatly appreciated. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Let's, I think, complete our, come on, I know that's there. That's our last item for discussion. So, seeing no citizen inquiries unless the press would like to ask something.
Recently.
I do have a question too. You have to get a permit?
You're supposed to get a permit to have chicken. It says, it's very vague. It says to have livestock in the city limits, not necessarily chickens, but any livestock in the city limits, you need a permit. Outside of the
Yeah.
agriculture,
2.
Permits, 2. And how many illegal ones?
I know of is one. We've got several that have complied after we received complaints on them, that they removed the chickens from town after, I went and talked to them about it.
Still one active one, though, that we're following through on.
And yes, there is one that's currently still in violation.
Do you get a lot of, asks for, what processes, or do you get a sense that this is kind of a fad that's starting to?
We've had one request in the past year
yeah.
for chickens, and the city attorney's recommendation was, because our code was sufficiently vague, to hold off on approving additional requests until the code could be included in a more defined code like a Clinton, or the example that's in the packet be included in the zoning ordinance.
With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.